My name is Camille Rodriguez, and I'm a field software engineer for Canonical, the company behind Ubuntu. I'm here today to present and do a short demo about MicroK8s in high availability mode for the control plane. This is a new feature that has been released for preview, and I'm very excited to share it with you. So MicroK8s, if you had not heard of it yet, it is a pure upstream Kubernetes that is packaged in a snap and it's super lightweight. So you can deploy it on a single node, or you can also use the clustering function of it to have it deployed on multiple nodes and create a Kubernetes cluster. One of the features I like the most is all the add-ins that are available for MicroK8s and that you can deploy in a single command. So you can do microk8s.enable with the name of the add-on that you want, and it will deploy it for you automatically without you needing to fetch, any configuration file or all that complex configuration that can happen when you're trying to just deploy things on Kubernetes is abstracted for you. So if we hop now to the demo portion of this presentation, the goal here is to show you that with 3 nodes, I can have a MicroK8s cluster that is highly available for the control plane and the backend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 bare metal nodes. I'm going to deploy MicroK8s on it. I'm going to link them together with the cluster feature. And then I'm going to deploy an application on top of it. And we're going to test if this is true HA. So for this demo, I am using MAS, which is Metal as a Service. It's a software that Canonical develops. And it's an awesome tool to be able to manage your bare metal servers. It will pixie boot and deploy the OS of my choice on 3 bare metal machines that exist physically in a lab. And so I selected this 3 and I'm going to do deploy. I'm going to deploy Ubuntu on it and I'll click on deploy. This will take a few minutes, and once they're ready, we're going to install MicroK8s on it. The 3 machines are now deployed. They all got an IP address, so I can SSH into them and get started with the actual installation of MicroK8s. So here I am. I SSH into all 3 of these. So I'll just clear the screen first, and I will install MicroK8s as the first step to do. So the command to install MicroK8s will be using snap. So it's going to be sudo snap install MicroK8s -- classic -- channel latest edge HA preview. MicroK8s for the HA preview is now installed on all 3 nodes. Okay, so let's see if I go back to the main window. If I do something like MicroK8s, that status, you'll see that I'm not allowed to do the command because I don't have the permissions. So one thing I'll do is that for all panels, I'll add myself my Ubuntu user to the MicroK8s group, and I will change the permission on that cube file. And finally, I'll do a new group, MicroK8s. And so this way, I don't need to log out and log in. I am now in the MicroK8s group, and I can do something like cube control, get all. And so this shows me, so currently, I have MicroK8s running separately on each. So if I were to show you in this window the same command, it's going to look the same because I've deployed exactly the same thing on both, but they're not linked yet. So to link them, you have to do a simple add node command. So I'll do MicroK8s .add node. And this gives me a command to paste in my other window. So join node with MicroK8s, join, and that link. And that link is usable only once. So we'll need to do it twice for each node. So this node is not contacting the cluster and joining it. All right, this node is done joining the cluster. So let's see if I go back to my main, like this one. This one, I'll do the same command again to get another code for my third node. Okay, all three nodes are now joined together. So let's look at what we have. If I do a status, I'll scroll up a bit. So my status shows that MicroK8s running, high availability is on, and I have 3 master nodes, and these are the IPs of the 3 nodes I just joined. So that's really good news. And in the add-ons, you can see I have H8 cluster enabled. And that's the list of all the other add-ons you can enable, and we're going to use 1 or 2 of them in the rest of the demo. All right, I cleared my screen because I want to get started with the application now. And so the application is going to be a simple web app called MicroBot. And to be able to access that website with just one IP that is load balanced across my 3 nodes, I'm going to use an add-on called MetalLB. So to enable it, I need to do .enable and the name of the add-on, MetalLB. And so this add-on is a load balancer for the cluster. And it's really cool because it's only software, so you don't need to buy an F5 or, or expensive hardware load balancer for your cluster. You can just use that. And so the only thing it asks of you is to know which IP address range you want to use. In my MAS, I define we have different subnets in this lab. And so in one subnet, I reserve the range for my test. And so I reserve just a few IPs here. And now I'm going to use it for this. All right. So as you can see, when you enable an add-on, it just applies all the manifests you need for it to be enabled. And so I can now do MicroK8s, keep control, get all. And you can see that MetalLB deployed 1 controller and 3 speakers. And it's still deploying actually, so we'll give it a minute. And it's all running now. The app that I am deploying is called MicroBot, and it's super simple. And I have a simple manifest here, and it's going to be available in the links as well if you want to test with it. I have a gist on my GitHub that contains it. And so this contains only 1 deployment that has an app, and the spec is super simple. There's 1 image, dog reboot me / microbot the v1. And I have a service. The thing that's special about that service is that it uses type load balancer, so it's going to leverage the capabilities of MetalLB that we just deployed. And it should get an external IP address from the range I gave it. So let's do MicroK8s.kubeControl apply -f microbot-lb. See, only 2 things to deploy. And now you can see I have 3 bots running because this manifest described that I wanted 3 replicas, but we could scale it up or down if we wanted. And then my service MicroBot has its cluster IP, of course, but it has an external IP as well. Let's grab that IP and look at the browser, what it looks like. So if I go here, let's see. And I have indeed a MicroBot displayed here the particularity of that application is that it shows you on which pod it's actually running. So even if we use the load balance IP, we're currently on that specific pod, so that would be this one. And so to prove the HA of the backend, we can delete that pod and see if the application recovers. And after refreshing, we can see that the new pod has this new name, and that corresponds probably to one of the bots we have, and indeed, that's the one. And so this shows that the backend is highly available. The last thing I'd like to do to show that we're highly available both on the backend and the front end is just, well, pretty much to drop one of these nodes. So currently I have 3 nodes. And so I've been doing most of the commands on this Hevelius node, so why not just shut down this one? As you can see, my connection is closed, and if I try to SSH into it, I can't. The node is not up anymore. So we can see I'm only in one node now that I did not shut down. If I do a get nodes, I can see that Hevelius is not ready, and I could do a MicroK8s status, and you can see, MicroK8s running. It's still highly available because we got 3 nodes, and there's only one that's not ready, so we still have the other 2 that are ready. And I can do finally get all to see everything that's running. And so some of the pods have to rebalance, and they're getting spawned on the new nodes. But everything that was on the other nodes are still up. And so it's rebalancing right now. It's fine. And it's going to come up. And as you see, it's already all back up. And my control plane never went down, even if my main node that I started everything on went down. So this proves that we got HA on the back end and the front end for MicroK8s. Thank you very much for watching. This concludes my short presentation about MicroK8s in HA. And if you have any questions, either about this demo, MicroK8s, or about another topic related to the cloud or Kubernetes or OpenStack, please talk to us. During KubeCon, we have our live chat open. We can do private chats as well if you have deep questions about any of these topics, and our engineers will be more than happy to help you out. Thank you and have a great day.